On the first Death Star, the Sith Lord Darth Vader was finally granted a wish he desired for nearly 2 decades, the opportunity to once again confront the Jedi Master that placed him in a state of constant torment, and trapped him within a torture device for the remainder of his life. Upon hunting down this Jedi, who was Obi Wan Kenobi, the Dark Lord engaged him in a lightsaber duel, as the Sith began to sense a greater purpose for Obi Wan being present on the battle station. However, his pure hatred for his former mentor blinded him, and he became solely focused on destroying Kenobi, completely disregarding the larger game at play, and moving right into Kenobi's hand. Kenobi, truly having ulterior motives for being on the Death Star, rather than confronting Vader head-on, goads the Sith Lord further, almost toying with him, attempting to gain as much time as possible so that Luke Skywalker and company can escape the Death Star unharmed. Once rounding a corner and seeing Luke, Obi-Wan comes to the moment he awaited the second he stepped foot on the battle station, as he raises his blade to his face and allows Darth Vader to strike him down. But why exactly is this? What is the reasoning behind why Obi-Wan sacrificed himself in such a manner? The first and most obvious reason being to give Luke and the others enough time to escape, as when Obi-Wan was struck down and transcended the physical plane as a Force ghost, his adversary was stunned, and so distracted he didn't even realize Luke and the others fleeing. By sacrificing himself this way, Obi-Wan momentarily took the most powerful person on the Death Star out of the equation, as the Sith even prodded at the fallen Jedi's robes in confusion rather than stopping Luke from escaping. Another, and potentially more impactful reason for Obi-Wan's sacrifice was to strengthen the Force itself. Obi-Wan realized his time was over and that it was time for a new generation to rise and fight against the Empire. When Obi-Wan says, "If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine," he means every single word. By striking Obi-Wan down, the Force is strengthened, and Luke is able to keep his mentor due to Obi-Wan learning how to return and continue to guide his student, despite not actually being present physically. After the fall of the Jedi Order during the Republic, Obi-Wan always planned on sacrificing himself one day, which is why he studied so vigorously the methods of returning after death. This is in fact how Obi-Wan spent much of his exile on Tatooine, learning from his former Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn, who himself learned how to partially return from death. Because of this fact, Obi-Wan was still able to steer Luke in the right direction, despite not being present in the physical realm. Obi-Wan also needed Luke to see Vader strike him down, knowing that Vader was Luke's father and that familial connection could potentially be disastrous for the Jedi and the galaxy at large. Obi-Wan needed to give Luke a reason to hate Vader right away, and give him motive to stop the Empire. By giving himself up like this, Obi-Wan engraves Luke with the feeling that Vader is to be feared, but also that he is no longer Anakin Skywalker. Although Luke would still later attempt to save his father, Obi-Wan's mindset was different than the views of the young Jedi Knight, even up until the final moments of Darth Vader's life. Obi-Wan believed Vader was to be destroyed, and there was no hope for Anakin. Another reason is despite being extremely skilled and powerful still to that day, Obi-Wan knew he could never defeat Vader. Just as Kenobi had prepared for another confrontation with Maul after their last encounter, so would Vader for Obi-Wan. Unlike Maul, Vader's fighting style was completely retooled and would have been impossible to predict, as Obi-Wan was utterly unfamiliar with it upon meeting him once again on the Death Star. The Darth Vader Obi-Wan defeated on Mustafar was not the same Vader he met on that day. That Vader had become one of the finest Jedi killers in galactic history and experienced dozens of lightsaber duels. While again Obi-Wan was powerful, the might of Vader would have proven too much, even without Obi-Wan's sacrifice. Unfortunately for Kenobi, Vader was allowed to prepare for their meeting, as he was more familiar with Kenobi's form and tactics, but when concerning fighting style, Obi-Wan may have well as fought a completely new opponent, as the style of Anakin Skywalker and pre-suit Darth Vader was so vastly different than this. This fact gave Darth Vader a huge advantage right off the bat. Obi-Wan also saw Luke begin to approach the two as they dueled in the hallway. Knowing Luke was in huge danger and would attempt to help, Obi-Wan seized the moment and lowered his famous guard. The comment again referenced earlier, "If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine," refers directly to the fact that Obi-Wan now possesses power that Vader has never studied or heard of until this point, and that a Sith cannot achieve in the first place. By striking Obi-Wan down unbeknownst to Vader, he can still aid Luke, which of course he does. Something I would like to point out is that Obi-Wan was never really killed by Darth Vader. He sacrificed himself and disappeared into the Force. I really adore this moment, as it represents a final insult to the Sith. That Obi-Wan is even unwilling to allow Vader the satisfaction of killing him, and robs him of even that. So how do you feel about Obi-Wan's sacrifice on the first Death Star, and all of the reasons for his last stand? Which is your favorite reason? Also, just out of curiosity, did you grasp the full reason behind Obi-Wan's sacrifice immediately following seeing it for the first time, or did it take a while to seep in? I know I had to do some additional research. Also, do you think Obi Wan made the right decision, or do you think he could have escaped the Death Star with the rest of the group and fought another day? And as a final question, I would really like to focus on, how do you feel about Obi Wan attempting to get Luke to strongly dislike Vader right away? Was this manipulative of the Jedi or not? If you enjoyed the video and feel it deserves it and could find the time, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like, as it helps the channel out a great deal. If you haven't already, why not hit that subscribe button to ensure you stay up to date with everything Star Wars related, from news, theories, and explanation videos. If you would like to interact with me directly, you can follow me on Twitter at Stupendous Wave and join in all the Star Wars discussions. If you have any video suggestions, I would absolutely love to hear them. You can leave them in the comments down below, or again, tweet them at me. Thanks so much for watching, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.